So sorry for the break in transmission. I'm back and I hope there won't be disruption again. So I was discussing Nigerian states are billionaires in dollars, and I said we are starting a new series, sub-series today, and I'll be focused on different states in Nigeria. And I talk about the fact that the first state we are looking at is Abia State. Abia State. Before I left off, or before the network went off, I was introducing the state and talking about the fact that the state governor is Okese Ikpeazu, and how the name was formed, the population of the state, just general information about Abia State. What's interesting about Nigerian state is the fact that with all the potential that most of the states have, they've not been able to maximize the opportunities. So one of the things I said to do through this channel is provide information, make it available. So for those that are concerned about their state, and then you are trying to engage any government officials, and they are telling you, oh, this is the challenge we have, we can't do this, we can't do that, then we are trying to see if you can be armed with enough information that you can now provide to the state and say, look, okay, if you say you cannot, these are the things I know you can do. These are the things I know you can do. By that I mean, you can then begin to tell the state, look, I know you can do A, B, C, D, E. So that the state does not, one thing that Nigerian state government complain about is the fact that, oh, we can't do this because we don't have this, we don't have that. And what I'm trying to do through this channel is to say, those excuses are lame excuses. Those excuses are lame excuses. Those excuses are not acceptable and not tenable. Those excuses, we should begin to challenge it. But you know what? You will not be able to challenge those excuses if you're also not armed with information. So that even if you're a writer, you're a journalist, you can begin to have enough information to write about. I mean, things that the government will see that will make them to want to take actions. Like I said, there's no reason why any state in Nigeria to be poor. So if you are concerned about your state, if you are passionate about your state, then share this video. If you have a friend from Abia State, share this video with them. If you don't have a friend from Abia State, but you are concerned about Nigerian state, please share. The more we're able to share this video, the more it travels. The more it travels, the higher the probability of getting to the desk of people that matter in the society, who will be able to help us at the end of the day to do what we want to do. What we don't want to do is to have a situation in which we are unable to do, is to have a situation in which, they give us those excuses, lame excuses, and then nobody is able to challenge it. So I'm trying to lay the foundation with the series I'm starting with Abia State, that look, the goal of this conversation is not to indict any governor. After all the governors are new, even those that are returning. Those that are returning, they can repent of their sins if they committed any sin initially. If they committed any sin initially, they can repent of their sin. By sin, I mean, if there are things they're supposed to have done, they have opportunity that they didn't do. I mean, the second time is an opportunity for them to do better. So, for me, I'm just talking about the fact that if you have a governor that you feel is not doing what he's supposed to do, if you engage him and give excuses, I'm saying now you have a better way to engage them intellectually with fact and figures to let them realize the fact that, look, sir, I agree with what you said, but not totally. I know there are challenges, but these challenges are not unsurmountable. So why don't you do the same thing I will be suggesting to you? And like I said, the suggestions I will be giving are not suggestions based on we're not just plucking figure from the air. These are facts based on the information we obtain from the state. Some of them from the government's website. Some of them from researchers in the state who have been able to do some research and give us the data. We now put those data together and narrow down on some product we think this state can export. Remember, the goal of this session is to show that export can be, we can have export-driven income generation and youth employment in each state of Nigeria. Export-driven income generation and youth employment. And that if that is not being done, is because the state have refused to do what they ought to do. And that's why the title of this program is Nigerian states are billionaires in dollars. And today we are looking at the potential of Abia State. So having introduced Abia State in terms of the general information about the state, just a way of introduction, that one for me, just like call it courtesy, because those are not my real focus. But I just thought it necessary for me to, just because if anybody is listening to me and is not from Nigeria, or he doesn't know Nigeria well enough, he can have an idea of the state I'm talking about, and then that's the whole essence of that introduction. But those are, like I said, those are not my objective at all. My objective is to make public some of the researches we've done about the Nigerian state, about the potential of the Nigerian state, about the fact that Nigerian state are billionaires in dollars and they have everything to survive. Only the Nigerian state have not been able to do what they need to do in order to survive. So don't let anybody bobo us saying the Nigerian state are poor. And you know what's interesting to me about some of the things I'll be talking about is the fact that, for example, look at Abia State. Can we just take a cursory look at Abia State? A cursory look at Abia State. And just check out. First of all, this state is currently owing over 100 billion naira. This state is currently owing, as at the data I have, these are my data, these are data obtained from National Bureau of Statistics, over 100 billion naira as at 2018. The income of this state is about 70 billion. And this state is able to generate about 20% internally. Probably because it's very unusual. Probably because of a lot of economic activity. Aba is like the Lagos of Eastern State, Eastern region. Just like Kano is like the Lagos of Northwest. Aba is the Lagos of that area. The economic activity is so much. Now, when you see the energy of the youth in the development in the economic activity in the state, then you begin to ask yourself, so why is the state government not deploying this opportunity, this energy of the youth in the state? Now, if you check agri product from this state, you will see cocoa rather, yam, cocoa, palm produce, yam, vegetable, and rubber. Cocoa, palm produce, yam, vegetable, and rubber. And on the mineral side, you will find glass sand, limestone, salt, shale, galena, marble, bentonite, phosphate, kaolin, feldspar, gypsum, clay. These are minerals from Abia State. Minerals from Abia State. So the question we should ask ourselves is, what is stopping Abia State from being the best that it can be? Why is Abia State not taking advantage of the opportunity that it has? So in our analysis on Abia State, sorry, I'm trying to get my data from where they were kept. What we've done is to analyze different states in Nigeria one after the other. And having analyzed different states in Nigeria, we choose a product in that state. And having chosen that product in that state, then we analyze. So, for example, we are using palm oil for the analysis in Abia State. Palm oil for the analysis in Abia State. Good enough, the state seems to be doing some things in that direction. I was reading about the state in the morning, and I saw a number of stuff the state is doing. Now, from the analysis that we did, Abia State can generate about 70 billion annually from palm oil export. 70 billion annually from palm oil export. And here is the way we analyze. We made an assumption. No, we got the fact that the arable land mass of the state is about 242,688 hectares. 242,688 hectares. 242,688 hectares. And we say, okay, fine. If this state is using half of the arable land, which is 121,344, to cultivate palm produce, which is already common in the area anyway, the yield of palm produce per hectare, generally from the research we did in Nigeria, is about 18 metric tons per hectare. 18 metric tons per hectare. Now, if we process palm oil from palm fruits, if you process palm oil from palm fruit, based on the yield of 18 metric tons per hectare, the possible yield will be 2,184,192 metric tons. 2,184,192 metric tons. Now, if you now process this weight of palm produce to be able to get oil from it, from the research we did, I understand it is 19% return. That means if I process 100 metric tons of palm oil, I will get 19 metric tons. If I process 100 metric tons of palm produce or palm fruits, I will get 19 metric tons of palm oil. So 19%. That means based on the total yield of 2,184,192 metric tons, the state can generate 414,996.48 metric ton of palm oil. 996.48 metric ton of palm oil. Now, at an FOB price of $500 per metric ton, at FOB price of $500 per metric tons, the I'm trying to get a figure here. Sorry, I need to do this calculation myself. I hope there is no error done by my colleague that did this analysis. So if I have 414,996.48 multiplied by $500, that will give me $207.5 million. $207.5 million. Remember, we are analyzing palm oil production and we are looking at Abia State. Remember, what are we trying to do here? Instead of just coming online and ranting, talking, we are also profiling solution and saying, look, from our analysis, this is what is possible in your state. Now, the data might not be very accurate, and I'm not even after the accuracy of the data. We try to be conservative as much as possible in our estimation, just to prove a point. To prove that if the state can gather the youth together, form them into cooperative in every local government, register those cooperatives, create a microfinance bank with branch in all local government, making funds available to these youth in form of seedlings, equipment, farm input that will be used to process the farming, cultivation, and harvesting of this palm produce. And you know the beauty of palm produce is that it will now be something they will be harvesting I don't know how often they harvest palm produce, maybe every year or twice a year, that they will be harvesting. And the implication of that is, that means we will not just be harvesting, we are now having a permanent source of income for both the youth and the state. Because remember, we are looking at export-driven youth employment and income generation for Abia State. Export-driven youth employment and income generation for Abia State. Export-driven youth employment. I think I should change my I'm trying to change my the title. And the reason is I don't want to just put export potential. Sorry, I need to do this. I'm just trying to ensure that if you're just saying export potential, yeah, export driven youth employment. Because in the course of doing this, you will see the way employment will be created for the youth. Employment and income generation. Income generation potential of Abia State. Yes, I think I like the way it appears. And the reason why I'm editing the title is so that if someone is looking at it, the person can have an idea of exactly what we're trying to do when we discuss having that conversation. What we're trying to do. That, like I said, the objective is to let the state government know you are driving export and creating employment. Now, the question is, what is the major headache of most states in Nigeria today? Income for infrastructural development and infrastructural building, and income, youth employment. Income, youth employment. That's it. Income and youth employment. So let's continue our analysis. Now, if you convert the $207 million to Naira using 360, that will be 74 billion. 74 billion. Now, to do the farming of this product, it's about 6,000 per metric ton. 6,000 per metric ton. That comes to about 2.49 billion. To process the oil, it's about 30,000 per metric tons. That comes to about 12.45 billion. 12.45 billion. Now, 12.45 billion plus 2.49 billion, we give plus 16, because what we decide to do is to look at the cost of exporting this item is about 60.6 billion at 40,000 per metric ton. Total of the three of them become 31.54 billion. Remember, the total income is what? 74 billion. 74 billion. Minus the expenses. That left us with a profit of about IGR is 14.4, internal generation of 14.4, plus the profit of 55.61 billion equals to 70.44 billion. So here is the analysis now. With the analysis we've done on palm oil, the state can generate 55 billion naira. If you add that to the internally generated revenue of Abia State, that will make it about 70.44 billion. What is the income of Abia State from the center? Income of Abia State from the center. By center, I mean from Abuja. The income last year was 55. 55 plus 70 billion. That's 120 billion. And the budget of the state this year is 139. You know what? The state will have been able to realize over 120 billion, and its budget is 139 billion. But currently the income of the state is 70 billion, like half of it. Now, what am I trying to do? I'm just showing. Now, in the course of doing this, remember, the state people are the one that will be cultivating. So we have a farmer. Remember, the people in the state are the one that will do the farming. The people in the state are the one that will do the farming. So we have the farming, we have the processing of the palm oil, and there will be people hired in these two brackets. So that's why we call it income generation and export driven. Sorry, youth empowerment and income generation driven by export. Youth empowerment and income generation driven by export. Export driven youth empowerment and income generation potentials of Abia State. And our focus was on palm oil. Now, there are other products. So let me give an example. Abia State is particularly of interest to me. So in Abia State, for example, there is fashion industry. In Abia State, there is what's the name? Leather industry. So in Abia State, there is leather work and there is fashion. In Abia State, there is leather work and there is fashion. Now, and I'm saying that the state should begin to export that product. Abia State should begin to export that product. So Abia State will set up an office in the target market around the world. Target market for that product around the world. So for example, leather. So let's check online and look at where do we have leather, footwear, leather footwear. Where is the major market of leather footwear in the world? Major market of leather footwear in the world. Major market of leather footwear in the world. Major market of leather footwear in the world. Leather footwear. Major market of leather footwear in the world. Remember, leather footwear is produced in Abia State. So where is the market? Number one, what is the potential of leather footwear? Potential of leather footwear in the world is $51 billion. We have looked at palm oil. But I don't want to consign any state to a particular product. I'm even saying that the state can begin to export the footwear. The state can empower youth and then buy the leather footwear from the state, from the youth. The youth will produce at a very good rate. The state government buys everything from the people. And the state government export that leather wear. What that does is there will be proliferation of production of footwear. Give them standard. And get people to do inspection before they take it up from them. And get a company that will help them with good packaging material to package those shoes. So for example, the major market for footwear, leather footwear, is Europe. And then United States. And where are they buying from? China, Vietnam, India, Italy. Those are the major countries they are buying from. So that means Abia State can go and set up an office in Germany, set up an office in the UK, set up an office in the US, set up an office in France, set up a location. So Abia State will export to Abia State representative. And then the Abia State government is supplying this product to major distributors of footwears in Europe and in America. It appears easy, right? If you think Abia State is poor, I disagree completely. Abia State is the Lagos of Southeast. Abia State have no reason to be poor. I've just analyzed only leather footwear. There are other leather products. There's leather bag. That's another market in its own. There's leather garment. Oh my God. There's leather bag. There's leather apparel. There's leather apparel. Let me look for that leather apparel. Because leather apparel, because of those that are in the very cold environment, leather apparel make a lot of sense. Leather apparel is 6.62 billion. Of course, the same people exporting the leather shoes or leather footwear are the same sort of people exporting the leather apparel. So here is my take. A state government can be buying that product. Now, when I mean buying, what the state government basically needs to do is to set up a special purpose vehicle. And these proposals are for states. States should do it as a business. How do I describe it? Established by a law. Set up an SPV in partnership with businessmen in the state who are in that area. Set up that SPV. Those businessmen are the ones that will ensure the quality of delivery. The state government provide a guarantee to the producer of leather product in Aba and producer of garment in Aba. And AGOA is one of the biggest things that happened to us as a nation in terms of export. US control 1/3 of purchasing power of the world. So if you are not trading with the US, I'm not sure you are doing business as a nation. So if China is supplying, we can also supply footwears and compete. The leathers are made here. The Abia State can partner and set up tannery. Buy the raw leather and do the processing finished leather. So that your people will not have to import finished leather. Sometimes it just because how on earth will we be importing leather to use to process in Abia State? Why can't the state government partner? Now, when I say state government, it's because state government can raise money. But this business should be driven by citizens of the state in the same line of business. To process that leather. If you need to import people from Italy or wherever, you import the technology, process the leather in Abia. Having processed leather Abia, then leather make available to your people to use. So at the end of the day, the state cannot lack resources. I'm saying Abia State government should begin to export the clothing materials, should begin to explore the leather materials, should set up an SPV, fund the SPV. If you don't have money, go to capital market and raise a bond. After all, you guys are owing already. So the state government should begin to be the one to buy, give guarantee. The state government should go and do roadshow abroad, get buyers, sign agreement, let it be backed by the state, and there's a face of the state, and that is this SPV. That's the special vehicle used to drive this process. Abia State is billionaires in dollars. Abia State is at a great advantage. That is the Lagos of Southeast. So why is Abia State so poor? Why is Abia State in debt? I'm challenging today the governor of Abia State, His Excellency Ikpeazu Okezie. His Excellency Ikpeazu Okezie, rise up to this challenge. Your people need you to perform this time around. I don't know the challenge you have the first time. I know there are legal lawsuits and the like with probably the former MD of Diamond Bank. Please rise up to this challenge. If you are listening to me and you're from Abia State, please share this video with your state people, share this video with the commissioners, share this video with people that matter in your state, and let them know that export can drive income for Abia State through processing and export of palm oil. The low-hanging fruit is not palm oil. The low-hanging fruit is leather, footwears, leather garment, leather product, and clothings and fashion right there in Abia State. Thank you very much for listening again today. My name is Dele Ayimba, and this is Import Export Platform, Facebook Live from Team President Academy. Remember, this video go on our YouTube channel, 3 Impes TV. Kindly visit the YouTube channel and share this video. If you also find yourself on my page, please don't forget to share this video with your friends and colleagues on Facebook. Let this video go viral. Let it go to people that matter, people that will eventually be able to put this into practice so that Abia State can be liberated from poverty. Thank you very much for listening. See you tomorrow as I move up north to go to Adamawa State. Bye for now.